stuff. I like that. Fins up. What's up, guys? It's your man Donovan Sharp, and welcome to this week's edition of Sharp Sports Talk. It's been a little bit difficult. Let me remove that one. It's been a little bit difficult for me to do sports talk this week, of course, because there we go. Of course, because I've got the trying to plan the CME. I've been nursing an injury, dude. Guys, take a look at my arm, man. Like it looks even worse now. Hold on, let me blow myself up here.
Dude, what you do?
Dude, bowling injury, man.
Ow.
Yep. Look at that. Dude, honestly, it's not as bad as it looks. It felt this way on Tuesday night, but you know, I'm starting to get flexibility back in my arm. The swelling has gone down, the pain has gone away. But yeah, the doctor said it's going to look worse while it's getting better, it's going to look bad. So I was like, all right, I don't care. I'm not in any beauty contest. Okay, guys, so let's quickly talk about just a couple of things. We'll do a segment here that Miami J suggested that we do, and that was the surprise of week 2. But before we do that, let's talk quickly about Oregon and Colorado. That's why we're doing this at 2:00 today instead of 4:00, because I wanted to see Oregon. I wanted to see Oregon and Colorado. It does not look, man. Love Shedeur Sanders. Love all those guys. But dude, Oregon's got Bo Nix. They're not 21 point favorites for nothing. I'm pulling for Colorado, but I think the primetime magic runs out today. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts? Who do you want to win? Who do you think is going to win?
See, I kind of want the because they're bringing Dion up to the point where they kind of want him to be hated because the mainstream media has basically pushed him so hard.
Yep.
And I kind of want the train to continue, but so Travis Hunter is out, right?
Yeah, he's out.
Yeah, they have. I don't think they have a shot. But if they can keep it close and cover, I think that's a win. Yeah, I think that's a win.
All right, Miami J, where do you see this? Where do you see Colorado versus Oregon at this point?
Yeah, I think if Colorado can keep it close and give Oregon a battle, it's a moral win in their book. But I think this game being in Eugene, I think Oregon's too much for them.
I do too.
I want to see Dion win.
Of course.
I would love to see Dion win. I'd love to see him go undefeated and make a fool out of everybody.
Boy, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be fantastic. But I think Oregon's going to prove too much for them this week.
Yeah.
I think they're 2 years away from being like competition for those major schools.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yep. I'll tell you this: a couple of quick things. Now is the time to beat Colorado because this is the worst Colorado will be. This team is the worst Colorado will be. There are now recruits calling Colorado, hey, we want to come and play for Coach Prime.
Yep.
We want to meet WWE superstars and Hollywood actors. We want to meet Kevin Hart. We want to meet The Rock. We want to meet all these NFL Hall of Famers. We want to be a part of that. And so, yeah, now is the time. Now is the time to, if you're going to beat Colorado, you're going to do it now because this is the worst they're going to be. I thought anybody else have something else?
No, I agree. You're right. Colorado's the worst they're going to be right now. If you had to, for some reason, fit them in your schedule for the next 5 years,
if
you couldn't do it this year, do it next year. Because after that,
after that, you're not going to want him. Yeah, they're not going to be your homecoming pick. Okay, so Miami J.
One more thing.
Yeah,
we're seeing more and more players prioritize brands over winning and getting excellent coaching. So they want the brand of being with Dion to help their brand.
Absolutely. And if Dion were smart, and listen, he clearly has. I think Dion has he has a very underrated coaching staff because think about it this way: 75% of this team, 3 out of 4 players came through the transfer portal. For them to all of a sudden look so coherent and look good against TCU, like they look like they've been playing with each other since they were all I mean, a lot of them probably have been, but to have them being as good as they are this quickly, it's really quite amazing. And I think it's a testament to that coaching staff. as to why they're so good so soon. What are your thoughts, Miami J?
I agree. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, sorry, I wasn't listening too much. I was
No,
looking
that's
at
okay.
the box
That's
score.
quite all right. Yeah, I'm actually watching. Michigan and Rutgers.
Right.
Ramon A. Bravo says, "I don't see them winning another game this year."
You're talking about Colorado?
Yeah, I think.
No, you're not.
Yeah. This is listen, Ramon. If you do know about sports, there's precious little evidence of that. Colorado, there are at least. I'm going to pull up Colorado's schedule here for a second because a lot of people just say stuff just to say
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
But Colorado, now the next 2 games for Colorado are definitely going to be tough. Colorado Buffalo's schedule, because they've got Oregon today at 3:30. Then they host USC next week. But after that, let's see. After that, after USC, they've got Arizona State. That's a win. They've got Stanford. Yep. That's a win. UCLA is going to be tough, but I think they should be able to pull that out. Then they've got Oregon State. That's going to be tough. Arizona. Then they've got Washington State and Utah. So they got
a lot of winnable games in there.
Yeah, they have a lot of winnable games. It's not an easy schedule, but it's not a cupcake schedule either. No. So Ramon Bravo says he has Warren Sapp now too. I don't know anything about that.
So Warren Sapp is doing some. He's coaching some of the players on how to handle like NFL and money and stuff, and how to retire their mothers.
Oh, so for the University of Colorado.
Yeah, he can't do the 3 a.m. stuff, or he would already be a coach. But if he's going in and like helping them with some techniques and stuff.
Wow.
Because he's a very smart guy.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, definitely.
A magnet for talent, bro. Talk about being a magnet for talent.
Dude, he's a magnet for everybody wants to be a part of this thing. It's incredible. It really is incredible. Apollo's in the house. He says, "Greetings, everyone." Okay, so let's talk about this segment here. I think that this is really cool there by Miami J. So you want to talk about the surprises of the week for week 2 in the NFL season. I'll start with you, man. I've got several surprises, but since you're the one that made this up, let's hear what you've got to say.
Well, I was going to suggest, how about for the biggest surprise of the week? And I called them garbage last week. I called them train wreck. How about the Tennessee Titans?
Jesus Christ.
Unbelievable.
I mean, that running game looked good. Tannehill looked like he was a rookie again, running the triple option for a touchdown.
Yes. Yeah, right.
That offense looked really good against
and
the Chargers.
Staley is the defensive coach. He sucks.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I mean, their defense obviously has work to do, but to keep up and to beat up the Chargers like they did, that Chargers defense is not it's not a bad defense.
No, they're no slouch. They're definitely
no slouch. They ran the ball for like 150 yards. Derrick Henry and Spears, they look like a good tandem in the back.
Good stuff, man.
That to me was the biggest surprise of week 2, and sorry to say, Zach Wilson was not a surprise for me.
Man. No. Yeah, gambled. I gambled. I thought Zach Wilson would come through for your boy, but that Cowboys defense is motherfucking hellified. We'll talk about that.
Thank you for the win.
Yeah, no problem at all.
It's you and me in fantasy this week, Donovan.
Yeah, you've got the lead. You've got the lead so far.
I'm playing dry.
Oh, you are? Okay. Your favorite. What is your surprise of the week? Your surprise from week 2, Jay Blaze. What you got?
I think the Colts absolutely trouncing the Texans.
Yeah. Yep.
Because I thought Texans would keep it close, but I guess the Colts just boat raced them.
Yeah, man. It was not close. And Anthony Richardson, if I'm not mistaken, I think he might still be in concussion protocol.
I saw Minshew had projected 30 points, so I think he's playing.
Yeah, very good. Here's a very good question by Apollo. I was going to talk about this later, but let's go ahead now. Does anyone think that Brandon Staley gets fired if they lose to the Vikings? Yeah. It depends upon what the loss looks like. Like Jay Blaze said a little bit earlier, Brandon Staley is a defensive head coach. And if you're a defensive head coach like a Robert Saleh or a Bill Belichick, your defense is supposed to be. Listen, Bill Belichick showed his defensive prowess. He basically bottled up the Eagles for the second half of the game, even though the Eagles lost that game. But yeah, Bill Belichick, the defense is never the weakness on the Patriots. And so it appears, I mean, so if Brandon Staley's the defensive head coach, then what is he doing there? You know what I mean? If their defense is giving up a bunch of stuff. So Miami J, what are your thoughts? Does Staley lose his job if they lose to the Vikings?
I don't think he loses it after week 3. I think the conversation starts after week 3 if they lose. Yeah, I think the media really starts, they start saying he's on the hot seat. He starts getting questions about it. And I can see it maybe if they go 0-5, then for sure. If they reach week 5 without a win, absolutely.
Okay. Jay Blaze,
I think he has until his bye week. And it was the worst thing ever for him to have Kellen Moore, who's an elevated coach. I think he's a little overrated, but having a young coach from that came from the Cowboys. I think he's on the hot seat. And whenever the bye week is, I don't think he should make any plans to stick around if he continues like this.
Honestly, I think I'll put it to you this way, I agree more with Miami J in that, I don't know, I think I agree with the both of you. I think if they start out 0-5 or they get to the bye week, I don't know when their bye week is, but if they get to the bye week and they're 2 or 3 games under 500, because there are expectations for the Chargers. The Chargers were expected to be a good football team. They had a 27-point lead. They had a 27-point lead while we were on. Were you at the yacht party, Miami J, or no?
No, I was not.
Oh my God, dude. So the yacht party happened. So the 27-0 lead happened while we were on the yacht, the Fresh and Fit 1 million yacht party. I get off the yacht and the fucking Chargers had lost. So people expect progress. And if they start off 3-5, 1-6, I think they're gone. But I will say this. If they lose, I'll put it to you this way. If they lose to the Vikings, if it's ugly, if it's 30-0, 35-3, 42-7, I think Brandon Staley definitely gets fired. I think he gets fired.
Actually, I was going to bring up another surprise for the season so far, and that is that there's only 2 undefeated teams in the AFC so far, and the Kansas City Chiefs and the Chargers are not it.
They're not one of them. Wow. Yeah. That's a very good one. Here's my surprise of the weekend. It's threefold. The Falcons, the Commanders, and the Commanders. Who's another team that was undefeated that nobody saw? They're all in the NFC.
Tampa Bay.
Yeah. Oh no, the Saints. The Falcons, Commanders, and Saints are.
I was going to say that too. That's crazy.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're all 1-0. The Falcons I did not expect to be 2-0. The Falcons I didn't expect to be 2-0. I figured they'd be 3. I figured they'd be 1-1. Phantom 313 says Bijan Robinson is something special. He reminds him of LT, LaDainian Tomlinson. I totally agree. Bijan Robinson, like I said, he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. At this point, I gotta say I stand corrected. The Buccaneers. That was the third team. It was the Buccaneers. The Commanders, the Buccaneers, and the Falcons are all 3-0 or 2-0. And to me, I got to eat a little bit of crow here because I said that Eric Bieniemy was essentially a fraud. That doesn't necessarily mean that I'm changing my stance here, but Washington's offense does look better than it did last year. Now, like we said last week, anybody could be a good offensive coordinator with Andy Reid as your head coach and Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback. So I think it's good that Washington didn't give Eric Bieniemy the head coaching job. I think he's got to go somewhere else and prove that he can be an offensive coordinator and actually make a difference before he's elevated to head coach. Hey, look, man, I wasn't really too big on him before, but so far so good for Eric Bieniemy. What do you guys think?
Let me ask it. I don't think Eric Bieniemy is going to do anything as a head coach, but I do agree. If he needs to take that step and prove that he can do it without Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
but let me ask the two of you, what's a bigger surprise? The fact that you have Washington, Atlanta, and Tampa Bay sitting at 2-0, or the fact that neither the Chargers, the Chiefs, or the Bills are 2-0?
I think it's more of a surprise for me that the former. The 3 NFC teams that now actually, here's the thing. The NFC is the junior varsity. The AFC is clearly loaded. They're the varsity. So while it is surprising that the Falcons, the Buccaneers, and the Commanders are 2-0, I think they've mostly done it against NFC teams. That being said, it's still a bigger surprise that those 3 teams are undefeated than the other 3 teams not being undefeated. What you got, Blaze?
Yeah, I think the NFC teams being 2-0, but yeah, you just said it. All the great quarterbacks are in the AFC.
Yeah.
So there's bigger competition, and I think you get better by going against the better competition. So
Okay.
I think it's better off for those 1-1 teams.
Okay, very, very good, very good. So Victor Jimenez says, "Give the Cowboys, give the Dallas some respect." What about the Cowboys? Hey, man, absolutely, man. Yeah, the Cowboys. Look, I'm gonna reveal my power rankings a little bit later on. But the Cowboy, their offense to me leaves a lot to be desired. But what is scary about the Cowboys? What's scary about the Cowboys is that Dak now doesn't have to be Superman. Dude, honestly, Dallas's defense, to me, it's given off like 2000 Ravens vibes. The 13 Seahawks. Oh, yes.
Those are strong words.
Those are there. Listen, I'm not saying they're the 85 Bears, but the 2000 Ravens are, the 2000 Ravens, the 13 Seahawks, maybe the 15 Broncos were also a very good defensive team, or the Tampa Bay team that won the Super Bowl. They won Super Bowl 37. They had Brad Johnson as their quarterback. He wasn't going to win the Super Bowl MVP. I think the Super Bowl MVP was Dexter Jackson. He was a defensive back.
Baltimore had Trent Dilfer and
that Tony Siragusa, rest in peace. Let me think. They were loaded. Ed Reed, Terrell Suggs, all those guys. Ray Lewis, what's that?
Siragusa passed away?
Yeah, Tony Siragusa's dead, man. Yeah, he passed away earlier this year. Yeah.
I didn't hear about that. That sucks.
Yeah. He was a big guy. He looks like a mobster, but yeah. But yes, Dallas's defense at this point is that good. Dallas's defense is that good. So it will allow Dak to play a little bit more freely and a little bit more easily, knowing that his defense for now is going to hold things down. What are your thoughts?
I think the Trayvon going down, huge blow.
Yes. Yeah.
He is a ball hawk. He always knows where that ball is. Like some cornerbacks, like I remember one of our old cornerbacks, Byron. He never knew where the ball was, but he was a physical freak.
Yeah.
Dude, Trayvon, you could stick him at safety, and he'd be an amazing safety too, because he just knows where it is.
Look, and I think that Trayvon Diggs is going to be one of those, because he's still very young, and he'll be back with his ACL. I think he's going to be one of these defensive backs who transitions to strong safety or free safety later on in his career because of his instincts, much the way Rod Woodson did. If you guys remember, Rod Woodson played cornerback for the Steelers all those years. He goes to the Ravens, and he was sort of platooning between cornerback and, strong and free safety, because Woodson was always a very big hitter. What do you think, Miami, Jay?
Well, Extra Guac in the chat says Dallas got better after Zeke left. Yeah, Dallas got better after Zeke left, but Dak got worse.
Yes.
Let's face it. You said it right there. Dak doesn't have to be Superman.
Nope.
He can't be Superman.
No.
That's the point.
He doesn't have that. He doesn't have that capability.
Exactly. So it's going to have to be on the back of that defense that Dallas does something special this year.
And they're really good, man. God, they're that Dallas defense.
So, Don, do you remember the Rams defense when Staley was there, where they'd shift what's the cornerback's name? It's blank. I'm blanking on him, but they shift him everywhere.
You talking about Marcus Robertson or
he's with the Dolphins now?
Oh, Jalen Ramsey. Yeah.
He would be a star. So he would like shift around to different safety positions or cornerback positions to throw the offense off.
Mm-hmm.
Trayvon could be that if you get another good cornerback.
And they have him now in Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Trayvon Diggs just went down. I think at this point, that's really their Achilles heel, is the fact that Trayvon Diggs is down. I don't know if they're going to go get someone on the free agent market, but you're right. Like Diggs has instincts like an Ed Reed or an Earl Thomas, Budda Baker. Look, Budda Baker, I think, is the best safety in football. I don't think anybody realizes that, but he is absolutely the best safety in football. Trayvon Diggs has more talent than a Budda Baker. That's how good he is.
So imagine them shifting Micah around, and then you get a safety that can also cover like a cornerback later, and you're shifting Trayvon and Micah around all the time.
Jesus Christ.
That is terrifying.
Oh my God. I'm going to tell you what, man. Micah Parsons, dude, that dude is going to be he's going to be a problem. I think Micah Parsons he's going to be your first $40 million per year defensive player. He is absolutely worth every penny. He is unstoppable. It doesn't matter where you put him on the field, man. The coolest play of the game last week was when it was like 2 seconds. He sacks Zach Wilson, and then he continues to do like he's a bulldog. I was like, oh my God, this fucking guy is a freak.
Yeah, he's going to get Nick Bosa money.
Yeah, he is gonna. I think they're gonna give him 5 years, $200 million. You can just book it right now. It'll be 5 years, $200 million, $150 guaranteed. He's never hurt. I mean, he's good God. Phantom 313 says, I have a quick question. Do you think Justin Fields needs to get traded? Or is he wrong for what he said about the coaching staff? The answer is yes and no. Yes, he definitely needs to be traded, and no, he is not wrong for what he said about the coaching staff. He shouldn't have said it publicly, because you're not supposed to throw your coaching staff under the bus. But this guy's, and you guys can probably think of many other examples. But Justin Fields to the Bears is, to me, the quintessential example of a super talented quarterback going to a bad organization. Deshaun Watson just went to the Browns. That's a terrible organization. They drafted Baker Mayfield, and Baker Mayfield is he's my favorite player in the league. He really, really is my favorite player in the league. Shouldn't have been the number 1 overall pick. The Browns freaked out, and they decided to win the draft to win the draft day. But when you are a good quarterback and you go to a bad situation, it can literally ruin your career. John Elway knew this. That's why he didn't want to go to the Baltimore Colts. Eli Manning knew this. That's why he didn't want to go to the San Diego Chargers. Now even Caleb Williams is like, dude, I'm not trying to go to Arizona. I'll stay at USC for one more year, for another year, make $10 million more in NIL, and then come out the very next year. So, Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts? Do you think this is a Justin Fields problem? Is it a Chicago Bears organizational problem, or is that maybe a combination of both?
So you remember on the 6 where EO was talking about the Bears and they brought in independent people to evaluate their team?
Yeah.
Dude, the Bears, the Cardinals, and the Chargers, because they're so cheap, they could have got Sean Payton. That would have shifted those those losses they had into wins.
Yes.
And he wanted to coach Justin Herbert. He would have gone to the Chargers if they paid that money. And you got to take that gamble. If you're a team trying to win, you got to do it.
You got to take big swings, man. You got to take big swings.
But Justin Fields doesn't have a offensive line, and they have a coach that they're not getting the cream of the crop coaching wise.
No.
But if you stick him with Shane Steichen or
there you go,
another offensive coordinator that knows how to use running quarterbacks,
absolutely,
I think he has potential.
No, dude, wow, that's a very, you know what? That's a very good point. It takes, like, you have to be a certain, because guys, the quarterback position has changed. Like Aaron, it's interesting. I remember, and I'll let Miami J go after this, and we'll talk about the Ravens here shortly. But I remember when Aaron Rodgers went down, the narrative was kind of, Aaron Rodgers is kind of the last great classic drop back quarterback. I mean, yeah, we still have Matthew Stafford in the league, and he'll probably be a Hall of Famer. He does have a Super Bowl, but dude, the avatar for the prototypical NFL quarterback is at USC and Caleb Williams. He's a guy who can run and a guy who can throw. And if you are not mobile, oh wow, what a pass by JJ McCarthy. Jesus. If you can't run, if you can't move as a quarterback, you're not going to make it in today's NFL. At least that's my opinion. What do you think, Miami J? Do you think, I think the Shane Steichens of the world, the running quarterback, gurus of the world, I think they're going to be the new sought out head coaches. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. That, like you said, the quarterback position has changed. And, the prototypical quarterback now is shorter, can run really fast, and has a cannon for an arm. I think probably Russell Wilson was probably the first of that crop of new quarterbacks. Now, first off, I thought Zach Wilson was your favorite player. I was a little confused there. And about Justin Fields, it's interesting because there's three parties here, right? There's Justin Fields, there's the coaching staff, and there's the organization.
Right.
Justin Fields has to know there's going to be consequences for that.
Yeah.
For what he said.
Yeah.
The coaching staff's job is actually to look past it and field the best team on the field. Put the best team on the field. Justin Fields said what he said, whatever. The organization's job is to protect the coaching staff. So yes, they need to trade him, and they will trade him. I do think they will.
I'll go one step further before I go to Jay Blaze. I think it's the front office's job is to protect the coaching staff.
Mm-hmm.
The coaching staff's job is to protect the players.
Sure.
And that's not happening on any level. That's what happened with Justin Fields. Yeah, dude, Brett Roquemore says the Browns and Bears might be the worst organizations in the NFL. I would put them in there along with the Cardinals, man.
But,
like,
by the way,
they're not very good.
They're not. What you don't want to see is the coaching staff retaliating against the player in some way.
No, you do not.
That's the last thing you want to see. And I got to bring up the example of Greg Berhalter at U.S. Soccer.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
This guy retaliates against his players whenever they say anything, and it's insane.
Yeah, the whole Gio Reyna fiasco, that was crazy, dude.
Yeah, we can, if there's time, we can talk about that at the end. But
okay,
it's embarrassing.
Okay, what are your thoughts? Is it the organization? Is it the player, or is it the coaching staff? In your opinion, Jay Blaze?
So I don't think they're getting the best personnel at any level. But if I was Justin Fields, I would have said this stuff week 16 or 17 last year, and you could have probably been traded to the Colts if you had done that.
Wow. And a guy like that is tailor-made for a guy like Shane Steichen. Because I think because Justin, to be honest with you, I think Justin Fields is more physically talented than Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts has got all the physical talent in the world. I think Justin Fields, I think their speed is about the same. Jalen probably has the edge and lower body strength, but Justin Fields can spin it. He can fling it. He's bigger, he's longer, and he's probably even a little bit faster. So, yeah, I can't imagine, dude. Oh my God, I can't imagine what he would look like down in Indianapolis.
You know, it doesn't help having Chase Claypool giving up. They got him to be a difference maker to offset some of the issues they have with the offensive line, so he could just throw up and get jump balls. But he's not putting any effort in.
It's crazy, man. And what the Bears did is a mistake that a lot of organizations make when they draft a mobile quarterback, is they completely forget about the offensive line.
Yeah.
That was only successful in one case, and that was when they drafted Russell Wilson in Seattle. That's the only other time. Remember, he beat out Matt Flynn. Matt Flynn had the great game November 27th of 2010. I'll never forget it. He threw for 400 yards. The Seahawks gave him 3 years, $15 million. They draft Russell Wilson in the 4th round, and Russell Wilson outplays him. And they said, okay, we're just not going to build the offensive line around him. Thankfully for Wilson, he was mobile enough to get away with it. But defensive players are faster than they used to be. You have to have a good offensive line. Victor Jimenez wants to know, do you guys like Richardson in Indianapolis? Jay Blaze, I'll go Jay Blaze, and I'll go Miami. What do you think?
I think he needs a year to develop. I don't know how good he's going to be. That's why I would have preferred them trading Justin Fields there, because he had a year of bad football under him. And then he could have developed more with a coach like that.
Okay.
But we'll see in a year.
Okay. Miami J, do you like Richardson, Indianapolis?
I think it's too early to tell. I do like Richardson a lot. I loved him as a Florida Gator, obviously.
God, he was awesome, dude.
But it's too early to tell. I mean, it's been 2 games.
No, I agree. I love Richardson. I do. And what a lot of people don't realize about Anthony Richardson is he is as big as Cam Newton, guys.
But Victor, come back and ask us that halfway through the season.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. I like that. So far, I like what I see. Clearly, he's not really. Even Patrick Mahomes admitted, he said, "Look, man, I didn't really learn how to read defenses until year 3. Year 2 was when he won the MVP and was in the AFC title game, lost to Tom Brady on that crazy holding call." Yeah. But I agree. The jury is still out, but I like where he's trending so far. But they do have to take advantage of his legs. This is why the Eagles are so effective, is because the defensive players, for a split second, they have to tell themselves, okay, is Jalen going to run? And as soon as they ask themselves the question, either Jalen is by you or it's their running backs. Yep. So I totally agree with that. This is an interesting question. Brett Roquemore says, how high will Brock Bowers go in the draft? Will he be a first rounder? What do you think? I think he's a first rounder for sure. Because he's almost like a poor man's Travis Kelce. And I think when he actually gets to the league, I think he'll even be a little bit better, because he's a very good receiving tight end. He runs very good routes, and he's an excellent blocker. What do you think, Jay Blaze?
I think it depends on who is in the top 5.
Okay.
If they're looking for a receiving threat, they might take a chance on him. Like the Falcons, it didn't make sense for them to get a tight end there because they needed so many more things. But if they have like a Falcons when they had the chance to get that tight end,
oh yeah, Kyle Pitts,
that might happen.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. What do you think, Miami J? Is Brock Bowers is he a first rounder? Yes or no?
I think he is. I would love for him to fall to Miami.
Oh my God, that would fucking blow.
Miami's needed a tight end for forever. We thought Gesicki was going to be it.
Dude, I'm vetoing. Look, no, I don't know. Sorry, no. Brock Bowers cannot. He cannot go to the Dolphins. You know where Brock Bowers needs to go? He needs to go to the Eagles because that's where all University of Georgia players go. Brock Bowers on one side, Dallas Goedert on the other.
Hey, just because we both want him,
Hernandez 2.0. What's that?
Just because we both want him doesn't mean that we're upset about it. Well, I actually think if a team is in need of a tight end in the top 10, I think he could go top 10.
Dude, if Brock Bowers goes to the Dolphins, it's over. Like, it's over, dude. Like, who do you cover?
That's the missing piece. That's the missing piece for the Dolphins, I think, is that tight end.
Oh my fucking God. I have a feeling.
Yeah, they need a possession guy.
No, hell no. He is a rack yak type of dude. Real quick, speaking of tight ends, I'm making a prediction. I think the Eagles go out and make a trade for Zach Ertz before the trade deadline.
You think they get him back?
Yeah. I think they get him back. If he's only 33 years old, Julie just retired. He's playing for a terrible organization in Arizona. Why not come back to Philly?
No, I tell you, him and Dallas Goedert made a hell of a team.
They did.
On both sides of the line. So
they really did.
I can see it.
By the way, extra guac correctly. Yeah. It was the offsides by the Chiefs. It was Chris Jones, I think, who jumped off sides after Brady threw that interception. They got the ball back. Okay, very good. There was one more question. Oh, Kittle and Kelsey, probably the most elite tight ends right now. Absolutely. Roblox 85 says top 10 easily.
I maybe throw Mark Andrews in the mix.
Yeah, Mark Andrews is definitely good. He's very reliable. Mark Andrews kind of reminds me of a Jason Witten. He's not going to get a lot of yards after the catch, but he has hands like glue. He's always there for
I think Kittle is the better blocking tight end.
Yep.
Kelsey's definitely the better receiving tight end, and then Andrews is kind of like the mixture.
Okay, I like it. I like that. Very good. Brett Ropemoore says, well, Eagles seem to get all of Georgia's best players, including, pardon me, DeAndre Swift. Extra guac. He made his correction and said Kittle instead of Kittles. # Kerry Kittles. # Villanova. We know all about him in Philly. Okay, so let's get to So let's get to our week 3 predictions. And guys, like I said, I'm working on the production. I'm working on getting the RSS feed with the sports ticker stuff down below. I'm working on getting some uncopyrighted music that's kind of sportsy and football-y, so we can have sort of a faster paced show. We'll probably start having production meetings and really step this thing up. But for now, we're going to quickly run through these. The reason why we're on now is because I want to watch Colorado versus Oregon. I got to see Coach Prime. Yeah, dude, look. Pro Special says Bowers on the Fins would break the league. Dude, Brock Bowers cannot go to the Dolphins, man. I'm sorry. He can't do it. Because
I love that you're hating this so much.
Yeah, but dude, I mean, look, man, I love the Eagles, but dude, Brock Bowers is the best tight end in the country, man. Like, real talk. Okay. We've got Houston going to Jacksonville. This is an AFC South matchup. We've got the Jaguars -8. The over/under is 44. So Jay Blaze, who do you want to win? Who do you think will win? Who's going to cover the spread, etc.?
So last week, that game was set up for the Jaguars to make a play and win against the Chiefs. But it never happened.
Right.
I think they cover, and I think Jaguars, are just pissed off that they didn't win last week. I think they cover.
Okay, so they win and they cover. You taking the over or under on the 44 points?
I am going to take. I think I'll take the over.
Okay, very good.
Because the Texans gave up a lot of points to Richardson, right?
Yes, they did. And Trevor Lawrence is a much better developed quarterback than.
Yeah.
But by the same token, Anthony Richardson, nobody has any tape on him yet. So that might be the reason why the Texans struggled with him.
Yeah.
What do you think, Miami J? Who wins this game? Who covers? And are you taking the over, under, or under?
I would actually take the under in this game. I think Jacksonville wins, but I don't think they cover.
Okay. All right. Very good. I actually agree with Jay Blaze. I think Jacksonville wins, and I think they cover the 8. But I'm going to go with Miami. I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under 44. I think the Jaguars cover. I think they win something like 27-10.
I can easily see this game finishing 17-13.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Next match up. Why is it not changing? That doesn't make any sense.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm sorry about that, guys.
Okay, you got it on slides or what?
No. It's share this tab instead. Oh, look at that. Oh, there we go. Oh, gotcha. Okay, so the next game, the New Orleans Saints going into Lambeau Field. Green Bay is a 1-point favorite over under at 42.5. Jay Blaze, how do you see this one shaping up?
I'm kind of surprised the Saints aren't the favorites, but if it was at the Saints, I think they would be 2-point favorites. But I see the Saints. I think Derek Carr, that was the ugliest game I've seen that Monday night. I think he bounces back and has a big game.
Okay.
And I'm hoping so for my fantasy.
Okay, yeah, right. Over under 42.5.
I think I'm going to take the over.
Okay, excellent. Miami J, what do you see? What do you got?
I agree with Jay Blaze. I think New Orleans wins this. I think I'll take the over as well. But mind you, while New Orleans is 2-0, I think they miss Alvin Kamara.
Ooh.
Yeah.
They cannot wait till he comes back, and I cannot wait till he comes back because he's on my fantasy team. So.
Okay, excellent. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna take the Saints. I'm gonna take the Saints to cover and win outright. I think they're probably a better overall football team. The Packers have the coaching advantage. I think Matt LaFleur has much more experience than a Dennis Allen, at least offensively. But that being said, I think the Saints go down to Green Bay or go up to Green Bay, and I think they win outright, which means they cover. And I'm going to take the over. I think there are going to be some points. I think there are going to be a lot of points scored in this particular matchup.
So we agree. We all took New Orleans, and
we all agree. Yeah, we all agree. We all agree with New Orleans. This is an interesting game. The Falcons and the Lions. The Falcons are 3-point dogs. I'm gonna take the Lions to win and cover. The Lions are grumpy right now. They just came off of a very controversial loss. They should have won that. They should have won that game. Aiden Hutchinson was clearly being held on his way to the quarterback. They didn't call it. Geno Smith throws the game-winning touchdown pass to Tyler Lockett. I think the Lions are going to be grumpy. I think they slow down the running attack of the Atlanta Falcons, but I'm taking the under. So I'm going to take the Lions to win and cover, but I'm going to take the under. What do you got, Jay Blaze?
Lions have played the better teams. I'm going to take the Lions to cover, and I'm going to take the under too.
Okay, very good.
Same thing.
All right, Miami J, what you got?
So this is a weird game for me because I honestly have no idea who's going to win, but it's one of the 4 games that I have money on this week. So if I had to give it to somebody, I give it to the Lions covering because -3 is pretty much a 50-50 shot.
Yeah.
I give it to the Lions just because they're at home, and I actually have money on the under.
Okay. Oh, good. Yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think the home team automatically gets 3 points.
Yeah.
So if you're a 3-point underdog at home, that means you'd be a 6-point underdog on the road, right?
You're right. And as a general rule, if you guys aren't into betting or you're trying to get into it, as a general rule, any line under 3.
Yeah,
Vegas pretty much has no fucking clue.
It's a pickup game. Yeah, it's a pickup.
Yeah.
Game. No, I agree. I totally agree. Jay Blaze, what do you have on this one?
I already said.
Oh, my bad. I lost track. Sorry about that. All right, let's go to. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. Wait, there was actually another question. While I get this, hang on a second. This is actually a very good question. Brett Roquemore. Wow, he asks very good questions. Who is the worst team in the NFL and why is it Arizona? Miami J, who is the worst team in football?
Arizona.
Yeah,
I mean, they're just horrible. I said it last week. That organization needs to be revamped from the top down. All the coaching staff's got to go. Most of the players got to go somewhere else. They got to start trading people now for draft picks. I don't know who the GM is, but he's not doing a good job at all.
No.
So, yeah, I mean, Arizona, I think, be careful if they go winless.
Jesus Christ. Jay Blaze, what are your thoughts?
I think it's Arizona, and if you're Caleb Williams, you can't go to Arizona. You cannot do that.
Nope.
But I think the Bears are a runner-up because they at least Arizona's been somewhat like competitive in the first week, right?
Yep.
And they had a huge lead over the Giants, so they're being competitive at least. But the Bears, they're not even competitive.
They're not close.
That's an interesting point. If you look at it actually long term, Arizona has been mildly successful in recent years. If you look at the Bears, they haven't done anything since the Urlacher days. That was 20 years ago.
Yeah, right.
So,
right.
Yeah, if you look at it long term, it might be Chicago. Maybe a very close runner-up.
I'll put it to you this way. Go ahead.
I think they made a mistake getting rid of Kingsbury, and I think they should have got rid of Kyler Murray instead of Kingsbury because
I disagree. I think they should have gotten rid of them both. I think Cliff Kingsbury, I don't think he was ever qualified to be a head coach in the NFL. He had a losing record in college, and half of his wins came when he had Patrick Mahomes. Now, when they asked Cliff Kingsbury when he got the job, hey, who would you pick number 1 overall? I'm sorry, when he was at Texas Tech, he loved Kyler Murray. Yep. Here's the problem. Kyler Murray, while super talented, is a shitty leader. Like Kyler Murray is one of these, he's one of these guys who's just not born to be a leader. To be honest with you, he reminds me a lot of Aaron Rodgers before he went to the Jets. Very aloof, but the difference is at least Rodgers put in the work. Kyler Murray doesn't watch film. He's a bad leader. He's getting into it with coaches and players. I think honestly, man, I think Kyler Murray has he's going to start to get a reputation as sort of a locker room cancer guy. Unfortunately, the Cardinals are tied to him for the next 3 or 4 years before they can get out from under that contract. I think the Chicago Bears are the best. You know what? The best. Jesus Christ. I think the Bears are the worst team in football, but I also think that they are the worst organization in football. They can't get the quarterback right. It's incredible.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think the Cardinals are the worst team and the Bears are the worst organization.
Okay, there we go. I think that's I'll go with that.
Yeah, you have to wonder what would have happened if Kyler had chosen baseball instead. Like you take the AAA a couple of years, him develop himself, because this is what's happening in these colleges and high school. They are completely like bending over backwards for the players. And dude, all the players have to do is say, "I'm going to hit the transfer portal."
Yeah, man,
and you're gonna get more Kyler Murrays than you are like Tom Brady's in the next few years.
Wow.
Well, you could ask the same with Patrick Mahomes. What would have happened if he'd chosen baseball, or Odell Beckham if he'd chosen soccer? Those are fun questions.
Or Odell Beckham if he would have chosen any sport. Dude, Odell Beckham, he kicked a 50-yard field goal, hit a 400-foot home run. Like he's just, and he can dunk Drew Brees can actually dunk a basketball. I don't think a lot of people realize just how good.
I don't know if you know that though. He has said if he didn't play football, he would have played soccer.
Yeah, and just to get into the soccer conversation, this is why America normally doesn't compete for World Cups, is because our best athletes play other sports. Sure. But can you imagine an Odell Beckham Jr. as a striker, maybe like a LeBron James as the goal? I mean, like seriously, if our best athletes played soccer, we would rule the world because we've grown bigger, stronger here. Here's an interesting question: do you think Mike Tomlin is going to have his first losing season in Pittsburgh? What do you think, Blaze? Do you think so?
I think so.
Okay.
Because they had that game set up to win, and I don't see them.
Okay.
I just don't think they have the talent or the personnel to do it.
Okay. What do you think, Miami J?
I agree. They're going to have their first losing season, even though they won last week.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. They still don't look like a Mike Tomlin coach team. They just don't look good. They don't pass the eye test. They really don't.
I'll put it to you this way. If they don't get rid of their offensive coordinator, Matt Canada, then they will definitely have then Mike Tomlin will definitely have his first losing season, because the problem is not the defense. The defense is always, listen, they ran into a buzzsaw with the Niners. Everyone's going to look bad against San Francisco. But if they can't find if Matt Canada can't get this offense going, you know how the Steelers are. They're very, very loyal. They've only had 3 head coaches all time: Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
That's one thing I wanted to say is that if you're a Pittsburgh fan, that's okay. It's okay for you to have a losing season. You have one of the most stable organizations in football. Be happy about it. Not about a losing season, but be okay with having a losing season because
you could be the Bears, right?
Exactly. No, Pittsburgh is one of the best organizations in football, so it's okay to have a losing season.
I think the best run organizations in football are the Steelers are very well run. The Eagles are very well run.
Yep.
The Chiefs are obviously very well run. The Dolphins are well run. They ran into a little bit of the Dolphins ran into a little bit of a rough spot there with the Brian Flores thing, mainly because he didn't believe in Tua, but we now know that Tua is the real deal if he can keep his head on a swivel. But I think those are the best. I think San Francisco is a very well run organization. Yeah, okay. So they
what about New England?
Oh, New England. Well, oh man. I don't know, man. It really, really helps. It really, really, like, New England is Eric Bieniemy. It's really easy to be the best organization in football when you have Brady, right? We all thought, well, can Brady win without Belichick? Listen, Brady won the divorce. He won the divorce. The Patriot way was really the Tom Brady way. This doesn't mean that Bill Belichick, the GM, didn't have anything else to do with that. But I think the Patriots aren't as well run an organization as we think. They can't draft the tight end position well, or not tight end. They can draft tight ends. They can't draft wide receivers. Nobody wants to go play there anymore. It's just, I don't know. Big to 85 says the Patriots dynasty is over. Well, yeah, I think that's obvious. Go ahead.
Let me ask you, what is a well-run? Is it just being competitive? Because I would put the Packers in there.
Yeah,
they stay competitive.
Yep.
But they don't go all in for a championship. But then you have the Rams that went all in, and now they're feeling the after effects.
Well, see, here's the thing. I remember after the Patriots won Super Bowl 53 over the Rams, I think they started like 3-4, and the media was getting on them like, "Hey, what's the problem?" And Bill Belichick told them, "Hey, man, we sold out. Like, we sold out. We took big swings. We went to 4 Super Bowls and we won 3 of them. Like, nothing's going to last forever." So I like that qualification, Jay Blaze. I think that if you are competitive, I think you're a well-run organization if you are consistently competitive and there's no noisy outside crazy stuff. The Colts are not a very good run organization. The coolest thing about the Arizona Cardinals organization was Cliff Kingsbury's cool house. That was the coolest thing about the entire Arizona experience, was that cool ass house and the babes he always has. Other than that, they really seem desperate, like the Cleveland Browns or the Chicago Bears. So that's what I'll do.
Arizona seemed to really go downhill after Larry Fitzgerald left.
Yeah, they did, man.
Yeah.
They did.
I think he was a stabilizing influence.
Stabilizing force, absolutely.
But I would actually throw the Ravens into the well-run organizations. I think consistency year after year.
Yes, absolutely. The Ravens are definitely a well-run organization. Yeah, John, dude. See, well-run organizations, they don't switch coaches a lot. John Harbaugh's been there forever. He's been there forever. Mike Tomlin's been there forever. I don't like all of the turnover. Even the Green Bay Packers. They fire Mike McCarthy. They bring in Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur wins 13 games and 12 games. Aaron Rodgers leaves, and they're still a competitive team. Yep. They still have a very good defense in Green Bay. So I agree. I think a badly run organization is an organization that makes bad characters. They make bad personnel picks based on characters, and they don't admit they have a bust. There's nothing wrong with whiffing on a quarterback. There is definitely something wrong with whiffing on a quarterback and not admitting it. The 49ers says, "Hey, we whiffed on Trey Lance. We're going to eat that. We're going to wear that. We're going to get him up out of here." But now you got the New York Jets, who are also not a very well-run organization. Zach Wilson is clearly not the answer, but they won't admit it. You know what I mean? As long as you can admit that you whiffed at quarterback, then I don't think you'll be crucified by your fans. But that's the way. That's the way.
I think a red flag for a badly run organization is when you bring in a new head coach and you don't give him at least 3 years.
Yes.
To actually implement something and get something going.
Yeah.
I think when you bring in the head coach and then you fire him the next offseason, then you bring in the next one, fire him 2 seasons later,
Yeah,
that's a bad. Yeah, that's not a good organization.
Yeah, like the Cleveland.
Can I compare it to one thing?
Yeah.
I would compare it to the scarcity mindset of a young man.
Okay.
Because you had the Cardinals. They were so scarce for a quarterback. They overpaid the quarterback they had, who was constantly injured. And if you were the Chiefs team or like a well-run team, I don't think they pay Kyler Murray. I think they trade him at his highest market value, and then they get a draft pick from it.
No, I totally agree.
Here's an interesting one.
Go ahead.
Sorry, here's an interesting question, and I'm sorry if we need to get back to these games.
No.
Yeah.
This is what it's about. Like us picking these games as just the conduit. Right now, we're building the brick, so it's all good.
Would you characterize as a well-run organization? Would you put the Dallas Cowboys in there?
Oh my God, that is
This is the issue I have with the Cowboys.
Okay, what you got?
Jerry treats that like a family business.
Oh, I know, doesn't he?
It's like a dictatorship. It's almost not an organization. It's just a dictatorship.
Yeah. So he keeps bringing in.
Oh, go ahead. Because I think
he keeps bringing in the personality he knows. So there's no creative ideas that come into that building. You had remember the Hard Knocks? They had Leon Lett, which I did like seeing Leon Lett as the defensive line.
Leon Lett.
Yeah, but they keep bringing in the same people and cycling it in. So they don't bring in any new ideas. Like Mike McCarthy, there's no new ideas with him.
No.
This is why I loved who the Bills, the Giants brought in, that Bills head coach. He was bringing in fresh new ideas.
Yeah.
Like you get a head coach that is like up and coming, that can throw some stuff against the wall. But Jerry doesn't want that. He wants to treat it like a family business.
He wants yes men all around him. Does anybody really think that anybody's challenging Jerry Jones's authority?
No.
The only
maybe his sons.
Now maybe his sons. 10 years ago, Stephen Jones couldn't tell Jerry nothing. But dude, I remember. I forget what year this is. I want to say this is 2014, the NFL draft. This is when Johnny Manziel was coming out. The Dallas Cowboys had the 5th overall pick, and everyone was like, "Is Jerry Jones gonna fucking do it? Is he actually going to draft Johnny Manziel?" And we were making jokes like, dude, if the Dallas Cowboys don't draft Johnny Manziel, they probably tied Jerry up. They probably bagged him, gagged him, and put him in a closet somewhere so he doesn't make the call. But I think Stephen Jones has a lot more say. Jerry's clearly the big bag. But Phantom 313 says that's why Bill Parcells left. It's also why Jimmy Johnson left.
Yep.
Jimmy Johnson left because Jerry Jones wanted to take all the credit for winning the Super Bowls. Like, he bought the team. Okay, he fires Tom Landry, but it was the great trade robbery that they turned Herschel Walker into Michael Irvin, Troy Aikman, and Emmitt Smith, and then they built this dynasty. But Jerry Jones wanted to be front and center. He wanted to be making calls and all this other kind of stuff, and that really chases people away. And Mike McCarthy is not that dude. Jason Garrett is not that dude, and that's why they're always flirting between mediocrity and greatness, is because they just don't have that extra something to get over to the top. Go ahead, Blaze.
Do you remember who they drafted that year?
I think Jadeveon Clowney was the number 1 overall pick. Didn't they? I know. It wasn't Jalen Smith, was it?
It was Zach Martin.
Oh, it was Zach Martin. Okay, because I'm thinking Jalen Smith, Leighton Vander Esch. Okay, good pick.
I remember Troy Aikman documentary on NFL Network, and so they got the coach. What was his name after Jimmy Johnson? They picked out of the 100 coaches they could select. They chose the 101. They selected Troy Aikman's old
Barry Switzer.
Head coach.
Yeah, Barry Switzer.
Yeah, Barry Switzer.
Yeah.
He lost the fire. Like, Troy Aikman looked at him. He's like, "Listen, coach, you don't have it anymore. Like, you don't have that fire in you, but I do." Like, I guess Michael Irvin came to practice late, like completely hungover, and with a couple of the teammates, and Troy's like fuming, and he's like, and the coach is like, what do you want me to do about this? He's like, "No, you keep Michael Irvin, but you cut that guy, and that guy, and you create a fear in the locker room."
Yes,
that this shit is not acceptable. He didn't do anything. And this is why you need these young guys that have a fire in them, that bleeds into the locker room.
So you wouldn't give Barry Switzer credit for Super Bowl 30?
You know what? I'll give Barry Switzer as much credit for Super Bowl 30 as I do John Gruden for Super Bowl 37.
There you go.
Because John Gruden, because I think John Gruden, and remember, again, Tony Dungy, a defensive coach, which is why that Tampa Bay defense was elite, but they couldn't get over the hump offensively. So the defense was taken care of. Defense is taken care of. That's all taken care of. So now they bring in John Gruden, and surprise, surprise, they get over the top with a mediocre quarterback, Brad Johnson. So I think that, how can I put this? I think are the Cowboys a bad? No, the Cowboys are a very well-run organization, but I think the one deficiency is, and I love Jerry Jones. He's my favorite owner in sports, but he is the weak link. They needed to bring in a guy like Sean Payton. That's who they needed. A guy that's going to get into your kitchen. Mike McCarthy is a Super Bowl winning coach, but let's face it, the reason why they won that Super Bowl is because Aaron Rodgers went on this run. That's not to take anything away from Mike McCarthy, but I don't think the world respects him as a head coach. Now, that being said, he's won 24 games in 2 years, and they've started 2-0, so I guess they're doing something right.
Quick thing about John Gruden, I think he probably should get full credit for that Super Bowl. And I'll tell you why. Yes, it was probably Tony Dungy's team, but you got to remember that some other no-name coach took John Gruden's Raiders to the Super Bowl, and they played against them.
Bill Callahan.
Yeah,
Bill
that
Callahan.
guy.
Yeah, it was Bill Callahan. Yeah, yep, that's true.
If John Gruden had been in charge of the Raiders, they would have won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Yeah.
He just happened to be the coach of the other team. Okay, I'll buy that.
Right.
Yeah, Pro Special says they picked the Hall of Famer. They picked the Hall of Famer, Zach Martin. All right, let's get back to these picks. All right, Baltimore and Indianapolis. So it's going to be the Ravens -8. I don't know. I'm fairly certain Anthony Richardson is still in the concussion protocol. But whether or not Anthony Richardson plays, I still think the Ravens cover. I think the Ravens win. I don't think they cover, and I'm going to take the under. Where are you at on this, Blaze?
See, I'm looking down on the Ravens all the time. So, hey, I'm going to go. They cover, and I'm going to say over.
Oh, wow. Okay, so it's going to be a blowout. You got Miami, Jane.
I'm actually going to say they don't cover, and I'm going to take the over. I actually think this might be a game for Richardson to step up and show us something.
Okay, very good.
I think maybe it's going to be a very close game.
Okay, very good. My power rankings are coming up. Okay, so here we go. Oh, this is actually a pretty good. This is interesting. The Tennessee Titans are 3.5-point underdogs at Cleveland. I got the Titans. I have the Titans going into Cleveland. I think they win outright. Obviously, they'll cover, and I'm definitely going to take the under. I see this being like a 21-17 game, but I'm taking Tennessee. Tennessee is the better coach team. When with the Titans, I always throw all the records out. I love Mike Vrabel. He's one of my favorite head coaches in the NFL. I think he's going to be an NFL head coach for life. I love that he's an old hard-nosed football coach. He looks like he could still be playing. I'll take Tennessee on the road to win outright, but I don't think it's going to be a very high-scoring game. What you got, Blaze?
So the Browns. Did you hear about the Deshaun burner account?
Oh God, yes, I did.
Yeah. So I have no respect for Deshaun Watson. I think he took too much time off from the lawsuits and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think he might never get to the level he was before that.
Yeah. And
because it's not like riding a bike. You need to continue your craft. This is why Kyler Murray will never be an elite quarterback.
Right.
You gotta work at your craft every single day. So I'm gonna take the Titans. And yeah, the over under is tough because I'm gonna go over.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
But it's tough.
He said, "I'm taking the over, but I'm not confident." What you got, Miami Jane?
So, week 1 and week 2, everybody's always super hopeful, and you don't really know what to expect from each team. I think going into week 3, everything starts coming down to earth. You start seeing who really are the good teams and who maybe are pretenders.
Okay.
I gotta tell you, Tennessee surprised the hell out of me last week. I'm gonna take Tennessee, especially without Cleveland having Nick Chubb. I think it hurts them a lot. Yes. I think Derrick Henry's going to run crazy in this game. And Ryan Tannehill proved that he still got that deep ball. I would take Tennessee and take the over.
Okay, Tennessee and the over. Wow,
Hey,
very good.
do you see the Browns later on? The defense just going, what do we have to do? Do you see them like kind of quitting like
Yes,
the Bears
yes.
did a couple years ago?
Yeah.
Or like the Broncos defense eventually.
Dude, Derrick Henry is the type of running back that will make you quit, man. He really is. He's at the end of his prime, but he is still in his prime. Extra Guac says he seems to be a shadow of himself. The other running back seems to be coming up. Yeah, this is the
Spears. He showed it last week. He can do it. He's got moves.
This is the natural decline. Hang on, computer. How old is Derrick Henry?
28, I think.
Derrick Henry is 29 years old.
29. Yeah. Computer, stop. He will be 30 years old on January the 4th.
Yeah, he's at the tail end of it.
Yeah, and listen, love Derrick Henry, but this is the cliff. Dude, remember when LaDainian Tomlinson, like he had a super year, then all of a sudden he falls off the cliff. Like he retired and you never saw him again. That's the way it is.
30 years old is pretty old for a running back.
It is very old because Ezekiel Elliott is only 27, 28 years old.
Yep.
And he fell off the cliff after year 3 or 4.
Oh my God. Yeah. Well, yeah, dude. Oh my. And Derrick Henry is built differently. So he was going to get a lot of runs, but there's a lot of miles on those tires, man. They're really
and that's the thing about running backs. When you're a really good running back, you get overused. And that's why they're so valuable.
Yes.
Especially in a game like fantasy, your number one pick's usually a running back.
Right.
Because those elite running backs are very, very few and far between. More so than even quarterbacks. These running backs are more rare.
And I'll even tell you this. Can we name a running back? And Derrick Henry is not even the featured back anymore for Tennessee. Nope. It's more of a platoon. What team? Bijan Robinson. I think rookies and second-year guys are really the only. Can you guys think of any other team that has because even the Eagles, we've got Kenneth Gainwell, DeAndre Swift. With Boston Scott, we've got a whole stable of running backs. The Cleveland Browns, they don't have Nick Chubb, but remember they had Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. They'll probably bring someone else in. Can we think of a team that has that one featured back besides the Atlanta Falcons, or do they all platoon now?
I think running back by committee is the trend now. I got to tell you, you just said it. First and second year running backs are the best.
Yes,
not only because they're younger and they're fresh, but they're also it's the easiest position to learn.
Yeah.
Just tell you what, hold the hit and just go.
Yeah, find the hole. Yeah, there's not a lot of processing that.
I love rookie running backs for fantasy football.
Yes,
I absolutely love it.
Yes. Starting with Zeke Elliott in 2016, didn't he lead the league in rushing his? And that was my prediction. My prediction was that Bijan Robinson leads the league in rushing, wins offensive rookie of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Clemson and Florida State are tied with 6 minutes left. Wow, what a game. Holy shit.
Oh, Clemson.
Do you think college is hurting the running back too, that they're getting overused in college and then they're being overused in the pros the first few years?
That could be it, man. That could be it, man.
And I think they need to change it where they need to still have the rookie scale for the running back, but they should make it like incentive based on top of that. Because
I agree.
They miss out on the payday if
they do.
You
know what? That's interesting because running backs are so valuable when they're young, but like running backs are it's one of the only positions where running backs can really only hope to get a second contract. You don't get a third contract as a running back. You know what I mean? No. If you're really good as a rookie, maybe they'll re-up you after year 2 or 3. Yeah. If I'm Bijan Robinson and I have a really good year, maybe I hold out after year 1 because they always use that against you. Okay, we got to prove yourself. So then he gets 350 carries, and then when they go back to the negotiating table, well, you had 350 carries last year. Well, wait a minute. We thought this was a prove it year. And I agree with Jay Blaze. I think there definitely needs to be in incentives, especially with running back contracts, because that position gets the most injuries, and they are one of the most important players on the field. So that's
and what really hurts the running back, you had Todd Gurley and Zeke Elliott. Those were horrible contracts.
Yes.
And they never got the
Never got their
value
worth.
out of him.
They got 1 year out of Todd Gurley. They got 1 year out of him. They shipped him off in the second year. It's unbelievable. He's still not in the league.
It goes beyond Todd Gurley and Zeke. Think about guys that are still playing. Kareem Hunt. Remember his rookie year?
Dude, with the Chiefs? Oh my God, dude. Listen,
was insane.
Look, check this out. You want to know why I know that? Is because the Super Bowl year for the Eagles, we had lost one game before we rested our starters. That was against Kansas City, and Kareem Hunt absolutely gashed us. Now the Eagles ran off 10 straight after that. We all remember what happened, out in Los Angeles with Carson Wentz and the ACL. But yeah, I think that's the way. I think you're right. I think I agree with that.
The only guy who seems to have staying power in the running back position from about the last 3 to 4 years is Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, Christian McCaffrey will age very well because of his versatility. LaDainian Tomlinson, I think, played until he was 32. If you're going to be if you're going to be a bruiser like a Derrick Henry, you need to get all your money and carries up front.
Yep.
But I think the best way because I think what's going to start happening is I think running backs are going to start to transition. So what's a running back? Who's a running back right now that's still young but considered old? Like, let's take Zeke Elliott, for example. Why not? If I'm Zeke, I hire a personal trainer in the offseason and be like, hey, man, I need you to train me to be a slot receiver. You're a running back. You're not a stranger to contact. You're not afraid going over the middle. You're used to getting tackled by 300-pound motherfuckers all the goddamn time. So let's just say you line him up in the slot, quick slants, get him the ball on bubble screens, and now you can extend your career for maybe 3 or 4 years. What do you guys think about that?
I think that's a great
idea. I completely agree.
I'm surprised that more guys don't do it.
Yeah, Darren Sproles was another guy like that.
Yep.
Yeah, Le'Veon Bell, if he had stayed with the Steelers, Le'Veon was like a slot receiver. He should have stayed with the Steelers.
Le'Veon was fucking awesome. God, and he's still young. Yeah. It's unbelievable. I think running backs coming out of college, I think they need to bulk up, maybe if they get that second contract, but then when they get to be 27, 28, or 29, like a Derrick Henry, I don't know. Honestly, maybe Derrick Henry lines up as tight end. Like, I'm telling you right now, man, I really do believe that running backs need to start transitioning to other positions. I think that that's the way to extend the running back career, because nobody takes more punishment on the team than the running back. Well, after the first 5 or 6 years, you're pretty much spent. Line them up in the slot. Let them line up as a blocking tight end. You keep your career in order. Maybe you even get some more stats, but hey, you're still in the league.
Yeah, not only does it extend the running back's career, make it better for them, but it creates more competition at those positions, which makes everybody better.
Right. Sean Alexander was another one. He was kind of a one-hit wonder, according to Extra Guac. John Loaded Locks Henry says not every running back can catch. That's exactly right. Mm-hmm. Those are the running backs that find themselves way out of the league. But if you are a college running back, you've got to learn to catch the ball out of the backfield. Yep. We know you can run, but you're really going to get your value when you catch the ball out of the backfield. That's how you get that big contract. That's why Christian McCaffrey is the highest paid running back in the league, because he does both very well. All right, let's talk about the Los Angeles Chargers going into Minnesota. They are 1-point favorites, which means this is pretty much a pick 'em game. The over-under here is 54. This is a tough one for me to call. I think both teams need this game. They're both 0-2. I think the Vikings get it done. I think the Vikings win in a shootout. I think they win 42-38. And I think Brandon Staley gets fired after this game. I think the Vikings win in a shootout, and I think Brandon Staley is fired. And I think Kellen Moore is elevated to head coach. What are your thoughts, Blaze?
I have no respect for Brandon Staley. So I'm going to take the Vikings. And, dude, Kirk Cousins is just dropping points after points.
He is a stat monger. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
He's a stat monger.
So I have the over. I think this is going to be a big scoring game, because Kellen Moore is doing pretty well as the OC.
Yes,
like,
he is.
They're putting up a lot of points still.
Yes, they are. And they got their weapons. Is Austin Eckler playing this game? Because I think he missed the last game.
Not sure.
I'm not sure if he is either. What do you got, Miami J?
I think it's going to be a very high scoring game. I can see this game being 41-35.
Yeah.
Easy.
I do want the Vikings winning. I think at home, in a dome, it favors them. And I don't think Coach gets fired, but he's getting close.
No, I agree. Look, if he doesn't get fired, that seat is definitely going to warm up. To be sure,
absolutely.
It's going to be the buy. At the very least, it's going to be the buy.
I think, you know what? I think I'm probably more aligned with that. I'll put it to you this way. Let me change this up. If they get blown out, then I think Staley's definitely gone. If they lose in a shootout, then I think the clock is definitely ticking. Can we all agree on that?
Necessarily if they get blown out. If the team quits on him,
there we go.
If he loses the locker room,
there we go.
There
it is. I think that's the nail in the coffin. That's the nail in the coffin. If the coach loses the locker room, then that's like you got to like Matt Canada out in Pittsburgh. You think Kenny Pickett and George Pickens? You don't think they're giving Matt Canada the side eye? They're like, "Yo, dude, like we got weapons, we got a scheme. Like what the fuck? What are we doing here?" So yeah,
I think that's one of the.
I think that'll be the end of them.
I think it's one of the big regrets if they fire Staley early in the season that they didn't take a gamble on Sean Payton. I think that's one of the regrets of the offseason.
Don't discount Kellen Moore. I think he might be better than people expect.
No, I agree. I was so afraid that Sean Payton was going to end up in Dallas. I was like, please don't let Sean Payton go to the Cowboys. I'm very, very glad about that.
You just didn't want to face him twice a year.
No, I did not, because Sean Payton is that dude. Okay, so we got the Buffalo Bills coming off their first win against the surprising 2-0 Washington Commanders. Looks like the Bills are 6.5-point favorites. To me, that seems like a big number. I think the Bills win, but I don't think they cover, and I'm going to take the under on the over-under. So I'm going to go Bills 23. I'm going to go Redskins. I'm going to go Bills 23, Washington 21. And I think that's probably, I guess I'm taking the over 23-21. What say you, Blaze?
I'm a little surprised by the Redskins lately. I'm going to take the Bills, but I think I don't think they cover, and I think I'll take the under.
Okay, he's going to take the Bills in a win. Don't cover an under. What do you think, Miami J?
By the way, I think it's hilarious that there's a Native American, one of the major Native American organizations, is leading a petition to change the name back to the
Redskins.
I need that to happen.
I love it. I think the world needs that to happen because it's the ultimate slap in the face to white liberals. But I have the spread at 6 points. I actually like the Bills a lot in this game. This is the second game where I have money on. I got the Bills going. Over under, I think it's tough. I think they're flirting right around the 43-point mark. I'll take the over just because.
Okay. All right, very good. That will be a very good game. The Broncos and the Dolphins. This one is intriguing. The Dolphins are 6.5-point favorites at home against the Denver Broncos. Look, I think the Dolphins win. I think they cover, and I'm definitely taking the over. I think the Dolphins hang 45 on the Broncos. I have no idea what the Broncos are going to look like offensively. My guess is that they'll probably look a little bit better, but I don't think it matters. I think Tua, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, I think they absolutely light it up. I think it's going to be an aerial assault. I'm going 45-20 or 48-24. What do you got, Blaze?
I'm going to take the Dolphins. Yeah, I do think they cover, and I'm going to take the over. Until Russell shows me something, I can't respect him.
Okay, very good. Miami J, what you got?
I agree with that take on Russell. I was hoping this will be the year that Russell Wilson comes back, but he hasn't shown it yet. I think Miami does win. The over/under, or whether they cover the spread or not, it's going to depend on whether or not Jalen Waddle plays, because he still hasn't come out of concussion protocol.
Yeah.
I think questionable. I hope he is, because I have him in my fantasy team, but I hope he's ready. If he does play, I think the Dolphins cover the spread and the over gets overtaken easily.
Okay, very good. Extra Glock says Josh Allen seems discombobulated since he lost Daboll. That's because he is. Brian Daboll took Daniel Jones and the Giants to the playoffs. He was clearly the X factor in Buffalo. I think there was a clear regression with Josh Allen. Dude, I wish Josh Allen would quit trying to jump over people. He scares the shit out of me. Every time he goes up, it's like, Jesus, Josh, like, what are we doing?
I'm sure the coaches are telling him that every time he does it.
Yeah. Oh boy.
All right, you tell Josh, unless it's fourth down and we're in a playoff game, just run out of bounds. Because Tom Brady played 20 years because he would get rid of the ball really fast, and he would just prolong his career like that.
Dude, him and Eli Manning. If somebody was going to kill him, Eli would just go down. Like, no, he is not here. He was not here for that nonsense. Not a chance. This is also a very intriguing game. So the Patriots have won 14 straight games over the New York Jets. I think that this is a trap game. I think the New York Jets win this game, which means they definitely cover. I think that this 2.5 point. I think that the Patriots being 2.5 point favorites, I think that's a trap. The Jets played the best defense in the NFL last week. I don't think they're going to look nearly as bad. Bill Belichick is a very good offensive coach, and he makes young quarterbacks look bad, but he does not have the same kind of talent that Dan Quinn has over in Dallas. I think the Jets win in a close one. I'm going to go 17-14. Jets win outright. So I'm taking the under on points. What do you got, Jay Blaze?
So Warren Sapp talked about the Jets-Cowboys game and that they weren't letting Quinn Williams, like cue ball, like really unleash on the quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, how do you let Dak Prescott go basically perfect for that game?
18 for 18, man. That was crazy.
But they kept him like the 2 technique instead of the 3.
Yeah.
And dude, you gotta shift him around. So I think the Jets cover, and I think it's gonna be an ugly game. And this is the only if it was at New England, I'd take them, but I think the Jets need this game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna take the under. Yeah, okay. I'll take the under.
Okay, very good. What do you got, Miami Jay?
Especially with 2.5 points, I'm taking the Jets.
Dude, that's too tasty to leave alone, right?
And I'll take the under. I think this game easily can end up 13-7.
Okay.
I think the Jets probably learned their lesson from last week, and they don't abandon the running game.
Yes,
they were abysmal. And we talked about it before last week. We said they can't abandon the run game. They have to run.
That's exactly what
they were abysmal on the ground. They can't do that this week. They need to go in there and just pound the football and make it a slow game, control the clock, and win by low score.
Extra Glock sees this as 13-10. I wouldn't be surprised if New England wins this game 13-10. I think it could be 13-10 either way. We all know that more games are lost in the NFL than games are won. But I think nobody expects New England to do anything. The Jets still have some expectations. I think they need this game more than the Patriots do, so I think they win outright, and I'm taking the under. This is also a very interesting game. So the Seahawks coming off of their first loss of the season, coming off their first win of the season, they go up to Detroit to get the overtime win against the Detroit Lions. They are 5.5 point favorites against the Carolina Panthers. The over-under is 22. Jay Blaze, who do you have in this one? And are you taking the over-under?
The Panthers game was such an ugly game.
Oh my God.
Bryce Young, I think he's going to be good, but he's not there yet. No. He needs a year under him.
Yep.
I'm going to take Seattle. I think they're getting solid QB play out of Geno.
Yep.
I think they cover, and I'm going to take the under.
Okay. All right. Very good. Going to take the under. What do you got, Miami J?
Sorry, I meant to say before the New England Jets game. That's the 3rd out of 4 games that I have money on.
Oh, okay, very good. And
so I got the Jets on that. On the next game, I think Seattle wins it. I think they cover. And I agree with Blaze. I'm taking the under.
Okay.
I don't think Carolina's ready for prime time, and Seattle has just enough experience to get this one out.
Yeah, listen, we're 3 for 3. I agree. I'm taking the under. I think the Seahawks win this game 21-10. I think they cover. I think they're just a better football team. Look, we all wanted to know if Geno Smith was a one-hit wonder, and that was a really cool story last year. Mm-hmm. I remember we all expected the Broncos to go in and dump truck the Seahawks. Russell Wilson and the Broncos, a better team, and Geno and the boys, they handled the motherfucking Broncos. I think Seattle, and I have them in the playoffs this year. They're probably one of the dark horse teams that no one is paying attention to. And they've got that 3-headed monster wide receiver with Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, and Jackson Smith and Jigma. You've got Kenneth Walker in the back. Of course, Geno Smith is 33 years old. He's still a young guy. I got Seattle in this game. I think they cover, and I'm definitely taking the under.
Know what? I think you might be right. I haven't really thought too much about playoff position, but I look up and down the NFC, and who the hell are your wildcard teams? Seattle could very well squeeze in there. Absolutely.
Seattle's in there. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you.
And, dude, Baker is showing, too, that it takes a few years for some QBs to get their feet under them.
Right.
And that's the same thing with Geno. Like,
there you go.
they tried to get Geno into the Giants early, but he got because they were replacing Eli, that fell through.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
And remember, Geno was drafted by the Jets. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Rex Ryan, a defensive head coach, was the coach there. Look, man, if you have the last defensive head coach who cultivated a Super Bowl winning quarterback is Bill Belichick. If you are a good quarterback coming out of college, you want to go to a team who has an offensive head coach. Because if you don't, how many, like, think of how many quarterbacks the Jets have had. Sam Darnold, Chad Pennington, Mark Sanchez, Geno Smith, none of them panned out. And they were all awesome in college. You can't tell me that they couldn't coach up one of these four guys to at least be halfway decent. No, man, I think there's a problem. And listen, the Jets made some good trades and they brought in Aaron Rodgers, but they are one of the worst run organizations in football for a reason. We all saw Hard Knocks, and we all, we liked Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson sort of having this revival or this renaissance, but let's not lose sight on the fact that the Jets up until this year are not a very well-run organization. And I think that Geno Smith writing in Seattle, I think that's a testament to the stability of Seattle. And yeah, Baker Mayfield, of course, he's doing well in Tampa. He had 6 coaches in 6 years or what a crazy number that was in Cleveland. So yeah, when you get to a stable-ish organization like Tampa Bay, you are going to thrive.
Just thinking real quick about the the Geno Smith in the New York in the Giants organization. It's very, very hard, especially if you're a young quarterback, to come in and replace a Hall of Fame quarterback.
Of course.
It's the only guy that I can think of, and I'm sitting here trying to think back, who probably did it most successfully was Andrew Luck.
Well, there was Aaron Rodgers too.
Yeah, okay, yeah, Aaron Rodgers and Andrew Luck. Yeah. But other than that, I mean,
nobody else.
It's really, really hard. That's why Mac Jones is probably not going to succeed in New England.
I think Mac Jones is not going to succeed in New England because Bill Belichick is his head coach.
The expectations when you replace a guy like Tom Brady are so sky high from the fans that it's really hard to internalize that as a rookie.
It really is. It's even harder to internalize that as a rookie when you have a defensive head coach calling your offensive plays. Yeah. Dude, I think, and here's the thing. Mac Jones was being talked about as the 49ers. They selected Trey Lance over Mac Jones. Tell me that the 49ers would not go back and draft Mac Jones over Trey Lance.
Right? Oh, yeah, they would. Absolutely.
Right? If
Mac Jones fits their offense perfectly. And to get back to that, you had Josh Allen, who was developed. So his coach is a defensive coach, but because Brian Daboll brought him up, he left.
There you go.
This is why you need an offensive head coach, because the head coach will stay around if the quarterback is good.
Dude, I totally agree. You need look, I'm all for giving defensive head coaches a chance, but if you are a defensive head coach, you need to bring in an offensive guru. You handle the defense, you let the offensive guy handle the offense, because clearly defensive head coaches are inept at developing offensive quarterbacks. It looks like, wow, Clemson and Florida State are tied. Holy shit. Yeah, Mac Jones would tear it up in San Fran. All right. I don't think there's any I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with this pick. Chicago going into Kansas City. Listen, Kansas City 12.5 point favorites. Over under is 48. I think Chicago scores a bunch of points late because it's already in hand, but I've got Kansas City winning this game. Jesus Christ. What are we? I mean, I don't know. 42 to 14, man. Kansas City is absolutely going to boat race this team. Chicago is a bad organization. They have no idea what they're doing. Your thoughts, please.
I see an over and KC boat racing them.
Yep. Okay. Very good. What you got?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. This is actually the 4th out of 4 games that I have money on. I actually have the spread at 13, and I still think the Chiefs cover that.
Oh, you took the point, so you swallowed the points. Okay, yeah, I don't think there's no doubt about that. Here's another 12.5 point spread. We've got the Cowboys going in to play the. He can't even walk on that. Going in to play the Arizona Cardinals. Again, I think now, you know what? I'm going to take the Cowboys to win. I'm going to take the under. And I think the Cardinals. I don't think the Cowboys cover. I think, and the Cardinals are better defensively than I think a lot of people give them credit for. We know that defense is going to get after Josh. What is his last name? I forgot what his last name is, but he's
Josh Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. I think
He
they're
looks
going
like an alien.
DeMarcus Lawrence is going to get his. Micah Parsons is going to get his. But remember, this is the first game they're going to play without Trayvon Diggs. So this game might be a little closer than we think. Dallas is still the better team. I think they still go on the road, but they win by 10 rather than 12 and a half. And I think I'm going to take the under on the 43. What do you got, Blaze?
So the Cardinals have been keeping it close. I think the players are playing for their next team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they want to put good film on tape.
No,
and I see the Cowboys winning, but I see the Cardinals covering and trying to keep it close. And I see the under.
Okay, very good. What do you got, Miami J?
I think we're all going to be in agreement here.
Okay.
I think the Cowboys win the game, but I think I'm picking the Cardinals to cover the spread. I like the under, and that's all you can really say about here. I can see this game finishing, honestly, 10-13.
Yeah.
10-17.
Yeah. I think
I don't think they get close to the over.
No, I don't think they get close either. These are always very interesting comments. The 2002 UGA would boat race the Bears. That is unequivocally false.
No, they would not.
If the Chicago Bears were to play the 2022 Georgia Bulldogs, the Chicago Bears would score 75 points.
You could take the 73 Buccaneers and put them against the Crimson Tide.
There is such a disparity in talent between college and the pros. You see, everybody in the NFL can play. There are 2 or 3 guys on every college team on each side of the football that might be able to make an NFL roster. So while it's fun to maybe think about that, Georgia was very, very good last year, and they definitely dump trucked TCU, but TCU ain't. Look, man, I'll tell you what, Max Duggan is not Justin Fields. Like, Justin Fields is that dude. They would never sanction this, but if the Bears were ever to play the 2002 Georgia Bulldogs, that game would not be close. I think the Bears would win that game very, very easily. Yes, and Clemson and Florida State are now going to overtime. How about that? This is a very interesting game. We've got the Steelers going into Las Vegas. They are 2.5-point underdogs. This is very interesting, and I think this has a lot to do with their lack of offensive creativity. I'm going to pick the Steelers to go into Vegas and win, but I don't think they cover. I think they win this game by 1, maybe 2 points. I think the Raiders keep it close, and I'm taking the under. What do you think, Jay Blaze?
So the Raiders, I was disappointed that they didn't cover last week. I can't get a feel for their team. Like, I just don't see him as a competent coach, McDaniels.
Okay.
I'm going to take the Steelers to cover the 2.5. The Raiders, I still see them winning by the skin of their teeth.
Okay.
And I'll take the over.
Okay.
I think some cheap points will get.
That's mighty close to say the Steelers are going to cover, but the Raiders are going to win with 2.5. By the way, Donovan, if the Steelers win, they automatically cover. Just I hate to correct you on that, but
if the Steelers win, yes, of course they cover because got it. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I'd feel better if it was 3.
Yeah,
I would too. I would feel much better if it was 3. Yeah, I agree with you.
To me, this is one of those games that's really, really hard to pick. It's a 50-50 shot. I like the over.
Touch it.
I actually no, me neither. But I actually like the over. So I actually like the over. I think this is one of those games that can get out of control and get absolutely crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't bet on this game. I'll take the Raiders just because they're at home.
Apollo says, I might get banned with my pick in the Bucks-Eagles game. Hint, it's not the Eagles. Oh, man. And right on cue, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles at -5 going down to Tampa and the surprising 2-0 Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield is playing some of the best football in his career. Tampa's defense, listen, man, Tampa's got some weapons, man. They still got Mike Evans. They've still got Chris Godwin. Baker Mayfield is playing very, very well. I think the Eagles, I don't think the Eagles quite, I think we sort of figured it out in the second half last week against Minnesota. DeAndre Swift ran roughshod over that defense. We're going to have him. Yeah, Florida State just scored. We're going to have him. We're going to have Kenneth Gainwell. We're going to have our full complement of running backs. I think this is going to be a good game. I don't think this is going to be a blowout. I've got the Eagles winning this one 24-14. I think we cover, but I think it's close early, but I think the Eagles pull away. I think they win the game 24. You know what? I'm going to go 24-17. I think we win by a touchdown. What say you, Jay Blaze?
Who are the Eagles playing next week? I'm just curious if there's going to be a trap game.
Oh, that's a very good question. I don't think it's a very good team. Eagles schedule. I think it might be the Jets. Yeah. Oh no. No. Okay. So yeah, we have the Commanders at home after this game. So we're not looking ahead to the Commanders.
That is still a 2-0 Commanders team.
It is still a 2-0 Commanders team.
I see the Buccaneers covering.
Ooh.
Because I think Baker's playing out of his mind right now.
Dude, it's crazy. Crazy.
I'm gonna go the over. I think it's gonna be high 20s.
Okay.
Mid to high 20s.
That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun. That would be cool if the game were to go over. What do you think, Miami J?
I actually think this game is has the potential to be a very high scoring game.
Okay.
I have the Eagles winning it, but not covering. I think the Eagles win it in a last second field goal.
Oh wow. Okay, so Eagles by over the Buccaneers.
I do think Devontae Smith goes crazy in this game. I have the over. I can see this game ending 35-30.
35-30. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. I like 35-32. Listen, don't sleep on Tampa Bay, man. I think we're going to have to. I think in order for the Eagles to, if we win this game at a blowout, we got to make Baker very, very uncomfortable. I believe Baker Mayfield is 100% healthy for the first time in a while. So watch out for the Buccaneers. It's going to be a fun game. Looking forward.
Absolutely. That's a Monday nighter, right?
We're getting 2 Monday night games because the game that starts after that is Cincinnati and LA, a rematch.
Which I love that, by the way.
Yeah, I love double headers. Yeah. That's what they need to do. They need to scrap the Thursday night games and just go double headers on Monday night.
Yeah.
There we go. The LA Rams at the Cincinnati Bengals, dude. So the Bengals are at home. We don't know if Joe Burrow is going to play or not. I'm calling the upset here. I think the Bengals continue to struggle. I think the Rams with Nuka, what's his name? Nuka Papua. That guy, plus they're getting Cooper Kupp back this week, I believe. I think the Rams go into Cincinnati, and I think they put it on. I think they put it on the Bengals. I think they went outright. I'm going to take the under the 43.5, but I think the Rams go down. I think they go up to Cincinnati, and I think they win that game by at least 10 points.
I like the Rams in this one. Dude, you got to put Burrow on ice for 2 weeks.
Easy.
Get him 100%.
Yeah.
He is your season. He is your season.
Yeah, that's your franchise, man.
This is one of your last window seasons with those wideouts. Like, you can only pay one of those guys, and you got to pay Jamar Chase. And dude, you're gonna lose Higgins and Boyd. You might be able to franchise Higgins, but you got to treat this as Super Bowl or bust, and you can't go that without Burrow.
Nope, I agree. Yeah, I think they might have to charge this one. They might have to charge this season to the game, man. And you guys remember Jamar Chase at the beginning of the season was quoted as saying, "Hey, look, man, like we need to Joe sit out until week 3, week 4. We need you, man." And here we are. Joe Burrow is dealing with this lingering calf issue. And oh, by the way, guys, if you're dealing with calf issues, that makes your Achilles tendon more susceptible to injury. We saw it happen to Kevin Durant a few years ago in the playoffs against the Toronto Raptors. If Joe Burrow is not careful, if he does not allow that calf to heal properly, he could really be setting himself up for injury.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah, go ahead.
I think they made a mistake not getting like an Andy Dalton to come back.
Yes.
Because he could have you could have sat Burrow and had a stable veteran starter that could have won a couple of these. The Rams aren't a great team, but and Andy Dalton could have won against the Rams.
I totally agree. Yeah. Andy Dalton a lot of people don't remember. Andy Dalton led the Bengals to 6 straight playoff appearances, man. So he is not a bad quarterback. How do you see this playing out, Miami J?
I like the Rams on this one, especially without Joe Burrow. But you guys are absolutely right about the Bengals. Look, if Joe Burrow, if he continues to sit out and they charge this season to the game, the key thing is for them to not freaking panic and start trading players, thinking they're, going like that. They have a great organization right now.
Yeah,
they have a really good team right now. They need to not freak out. If you have to chuck it to the game, whatever, let it go. Prepare for next season, but don't freak out about it.
No, I agree.
Start trading everybody.
No, I agree. They're going to have to sign Jamar Chase. T. Higgins, they're going to have to make a choice between T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd, but Jamar Chase is definitely the next one that's going to be up. Yes, extra guacs. Yes, this is the rematch of Super Bowl 56, if I'm not mistaken, where the LA Rams beat the Cincinnati Bengals.
This is just interesting. I have the schedule up for week 3, and it gives you the ticket prices.
Yeah.
Freaking Jacksonville, you can get a ticket for $28, but then Las Vegas, the cheapest ticket is $405.
Fuck. That's because they're playing the Steelers.
It is, but the disparity is insane. And you would think a team like Kansas City would be really expensive to get into. You can get a ticket for $89.
Well, this is Kansas City. I mean, it's like like you have to think about like where you are. If you're in like a high tax state, it is going to be a little different. But yeah, you're right. That is a big disparity. But everybody says that Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No, America's team is the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers fans travel better than any other fan base in the NFL. So
that is true.
And you have to consider the Raiders. The casinos are buying up tickets.
to
give to their.
Oh, that's true.
That's a very good.
Their
point.
whales.
Yep, that's a very good. Yeah. Oh, dude, 100%. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the whales are the guys that come in and they gamble. They comp a bunch of rooms too. All right. Finally, these are my week 2 power rankings. These are my week 2 power rankings. At number 10, I've got the Washington Commanders. They are shockingly 2-0. At number 9, I've got the 2-0 New Orleans Saints. They haven't looked good, but they're still 2-0. I kept Jacksonville in the top 10 because, of course, they did play very well against Kansas City. Number 7, I've got the Buffalo Bills. I moved them up because they did get into the win column. I think they're better than what their record says. That loss to the Jets was a little bit of a fluke. Kansas City, I dropped back to 6 because they did struggle with Jacksonville. I kind of have Kansas City in the same in the same category as the Eagles. We're 2-0. We're where we're supposed to be, but we don't quite look the same as we did last year. That's why I dropped them to 6. Number 5 is Baltimore. Look, man, dude, John Harbaugh's got those boys humming. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is out for the year. But, dude, Lamar Jackson wins 77% of games he starts. That hasn't changed. Number 4, I moved the Eagles up to number 4. Just like Apollo said last week, there is something to be said about winning. Number 3, I've got the Miami Dolphins. That offense is unstoppable. Number 2, I've got the Dallas Cowboys. That defense is unstoppable. Number 1, the San Francisco 49ers. I think they are probably they're the most balanced team in football. The second most balanced team in football is probably the Eagles. I think the Eagles are sort of like a poor man's San Francisco 49ers. The Eagles have a good offense and a good defense, but they're not playing at the level they were last year. So those are my power rankings. Jay Blaze, agreements, disagreements, where you move anything? What are your thoughts here?
I think if the Lions had pulled the game out last week, they should have got the 10 spot.
Yep, I agree.
But hey, a win. The Redskins are 2-0, so I don't hate that. No, it's a solid list. Yeah, it's a solid list.
This is a very good question. Who is a better linebacking combination? Patrick Willis and Navarro Bowman, or Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw? I'm going to go with Willis and Bowman, but the disparity is not wide. Because, dude, Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw, those are some bad motherfuckers, man. Those are some bad motherfuckers, dude. I remember, and a lot of people thought Navarro Bowman was a better linebacker than Patrick Willis. Miami J, what are your thoughts about these rankings?
So, I agree with actually, no, I don't. I would actually have Tennessee at 10.
Okay.
I would maybe switch the Dolphins and the Cowboys.
Okay.
And but I would put Tennessee at 10, but you can't argue with the 2-0 record, right?
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know if I'd have Buffalo that high. I would maybe put the Saints and the Jacksonville Jaguars above them.
Okay. All right.
But other than that, other than the 4 or 5 changes I just listed, it's a great list.
Good stuff. Very good, man. Holy smokes, we didn't even have any any topics to cover, and we still did an hour and a half. Dude, great as usual. We're gonna be right back here on Monday. Because I thought I was going to Miami on Wednesday, but I don't think I am, because Fresh and Fit, they're moving their studio next week. So I'm going to have to push that trip back. We'll see. Maybe I'll come down. Maybe I won't. I don't know. Yeah, I'm about to go and watch Oregon blow out the Colorado Buffaloes. I hope that doesn't happen, but I'm still pulling for them. Jay Blaze, Miami Jay, thank you guys for joining me, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks for having us, Dave.
All right, guys, take care.
Peace.